discussion.
This is what the common emotion. We justify that the higher intensity and low pleasantness is anger, disgust, fear, sad, and envy.
Okay. So, based on our consensus, anticipation, trust, joy, high in pleasantness and intensity, and there's no emotion in the border, in the middle line, because for women, as we discussed, there's no emotion in the borderlines. It's either too high or too low.
MashaAllah. Great, thank you for sharing. And in terms of trust, do you think it will be high in intensity or medium low?
Actually, we put trust at a very high intensity and pleasantness
Okay.
because we, as our discussion and consensus earlier, we trust people, but once that person betray the trust, then it will go down to here and maybe at the bottom.
Okay. Very nice analysis. Yeah, I like that. Great, great. Thank you very much for sharing. Inshallah, excellent. Good job.
You. You.
Okay. Give it to the men's. All right, so we have two from the men's side. Thank you, ladies, for participating. Here's oh, you have the mic. Can you use this one as well? Can you pass this to the speaker? Speaker.
Mic. Okay. There's a quadrant that. Sudah kat baju? Okay. Okay, there is a quadrant that with low pleasantness and also low intensity.
So you have. Okay.
In this quadrant, we have select three emotion, which is sadness, envy, and also disgust.
Okay.
Because sadness is it's just a sad feelings
Yeah.
that does not have any intensity or put energy on it. So
Yeah.
what it is put on intensity.
Okay.
And also envy, we just feel the feelings that a little anger, but it is just keep on yourself. So it is
It
still
depends, right?
Yeah.
Maybe for some people the envy might be less, but maybe if it's a Toyota, the envy might be less. But if it's a BMW X6, then the envy might be more, right?
Yeah.
So it depends. It might fluctuate. Yeah. Thanks.
And also disgust. It's just disgust feelings.
Yeah.
And why? But it does not push the energy. It just come and go.
Yeah. All right.
Next is joy feeling. It is in high pleasantness, but the intensity of it is not so.
Yeah.
Okay, and in this side, the pleasantness is low, but the intensity is high because like someone when the anger, they tends to give up the energy,
Yeah.
and also fear is the feeling that makes someone anxiety or affecting
Stress, yeah.
their nervousness,
True.
and also trust. The intensity we give when we trust on someone is really high, and also the pleasantness is also there because we trust on someone, right?
Inshallah.
Surprise!
Alright.
Oh, surprise! It is just a sudden reaction, so I think it might be in the middle because it just come and go as well.
All right. Very good, very good. Alhamdulillah. Jazakallah khairan for that. And the ladies and the women, sorry, the ladies and the men have consensus on trust in the same place, right? And maybe a few others as well. So trust, mashallah, both of you have rated it at the same place. But we have some differences as we can see. It's not rated at the same place. So disgust is, and fear were all rated high because the ladies reasoned that for them, emotions are always, very intensely felt, yeah, compared to the men perhaps. So, the point is that different emotions have different intensity and they have different kind of feeling, right? Pleasantness. For some, we may feel pleasant. For others, we may feel very negative about it. Yeah. So emotions have a big range. But do you think these are the only emotions that we can experience? No, right? There are a lot more. What are some things that might be missing in this list? Guilty, yeah. And related to guilty, another one? We feel we did something wrong and we feel? Sorry? Afraid, shame. Yeah, shame, yeah. Good one. Exactly. Other emotions that might be missing here? Jealousy, okay, yeah. Related to envy. But yeah, jealous also we feel. So envy is more intense, right? Hasad. And maybe jealousy is like a bit less intense than envy. Yeah. What else is missing here? Grateful, gratitude, gratefulness. Shukr. Yeah. So it's one of the most beautiful emotions. There was actually a center in the University of Berkeley called, and they did a study on gratitude, and they found out that generally people who have more gratitude, more shukr, they are more happier, they have lesser diseases, and a whole range of benefits that they found out after 10 years of studies, and they compiled all meta research on many studies, and they compiled the results. So, inshallah, secret to happiness: be more thankful as well. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also mentioned that, right, in the Quran, لَإِن شَكَرْتُمْ لَأَزِيدَنَّكُمْ. If you are grateful, Allah will increase you in your blessings and give you more and more. So yeah, you can't go wrong with shukr and gratitude. What else? Shy, very good. Yeah, shy is also a beautiful feeling. Modesty and shyness. So that is something also that's not missing here. Yeah. The thing is, there are a whole variety and range of emotions, and there have been studies on that. And one of them is this one. Oops, going wrong side. Is by Julia West. She compiled the intensity of emotions. So these are like master emotions, you can say, and these are like sub emotions. So under happiness, there are three categories. For example, some high emotions: excited, overjoyed, ecstatic, fired up, passionate. Yeah. Medium for happiness is like cheerful, gratified, satisfied, glowing. Low intensity happiness, for example, glad, pleased, tender, mellow, and so forth, contented. So similarly, we'll share this with you inshallah later on. But then sadness, for example, similarly has ranges over here. And anger has, for example, furious is very high intensity anger. Upset or mad is a medium intensity. Disgusted, they also put it in the medium. I think we had, yeah, high over here. Then resistant, somebody's trying to communicate something to you and you're trying to be resistant. So that is also in the low form of anger. Irritated, touchy, annoyed, so all these are low. So as you can see, each of these emotions, we can rate it under high, medium, and low. And one of the things that they do is to become better in emotional intelligence is also to recognize your emotion. Yeah. And in order to recognize, you have to be able to identify and label your emotion, so you can clearly describe what you're feeling. And a lot of times, sometimes in our culture, we are not used to describing our feelings that much, and more especially for the men rather than the women, right? So sometimes we may not be able to express that emotions effectively or label those emotions effectively. So this is a strategy that we can practice, is to use this kind of chart. And there's another circle chart I'll share with you as well later on. And you can use those charts to start labeling your emotions more. And you can practice that with your children if you have children. So teach them also to label emotions, and that will help them, inshallah, to be emotionally intelligent in the future as well. Yeah. We'll move on to the business case for emotional intelligence. Why is emotional intelligence necessary? It's not just something good to have in business, but it is something critical, mission critical. So we'll see why. Okay. Before that, let me share a story of termites. Do you know what are termites, right? Yeah, those insects that eat wood. Yeah, we don't have wooden chairs here, alhamdulillah, so you don't have to worry about termites. But it was actually a person called Lewis Terman and his termites. Yeah, so because of his last name, they called it termites. He had a thesis. He had a hypothesis that it is a high IQ people who are the movers and the shakers in the world. Yeah, they are the people who are going to be the top of the cream of the crop in every single field, who are going to shape the world, who are going to change the world. So he wanted to prove his theory. So he selected about 100 plus high IQ students, very high IQ, right? Maybe 150 plus or something like that. So Einstein was 160, 170. So you can see they're like very high level, high IQ people. And he followed them for how long do you think for his study? Give me a guess, quick guess. 1 year? Somebody said 6 years? 10 years? 20 years. So one of the longest research, right? 20-year research of his life he spent on this one to follow them to see if his theory would be correct or not. So after 20 years, do you think his hypothesis was correct? No. After the study, he found out that 1/3 of the people, yes, they were the movers and shakers. They were the top. They were the cream of the crop. Yeah, 1/3 of that study number. Another 1/3 was average, nothing special about them, just an average you and me, normal person. Yeah, nothing special. The other 1/3, the last 1/3, they were what society calls materialistically abject failures. Yeah, they were failures in their professional life, they're failures in their personal lives. Yeah, so then that cracked his hypothesis, that cracked his theory, what he had in mind. So what was that X factor? What was that factor that differentiates those movers and shakers? So after some deep pondering, he found out that it was social intelligence, or what we call today as emotional intelligence, right? So this is one of the critical studies that really changed the management studies perspective on where to prioritize, yeah? Later on, there was a study done by Hayes McBurr. There's a HR consultancy based in the UK, and they did studies from 40 companies they analyzed, and they found out that of the competencies that distinguish people on high performers, about 1/3 were cognitive, mental competencies, but 2/3 were emotional, were emotions related, behaviors, competencies, like being able to motivate others and so forth. Yeah. Another study, about 286 organizations were studied globally at different levels of management, and 21 general competencies distinguishing high performers from average performers was identified, and the most for the senior level of management. And they found out that out of those 21, only 2 were intellectual competencies and 1 was technical. The rest 18 were actually emotions related competencies. So you can see, subhanAllah, how significant and impactful it can be. So in a famous book, it's a small book on EQ called EQ 2.0. So Travis Bradbury, he mentioned, and Gene, that a little bit effort spent on EQ to increase your EQ can have a wide-ranging positive impact. A wide variety of things like trust, excellence, quality, empowering people, motivation, decision-making, flexibility, being adaptable to change, compassion, stress tolerance, listening, respect, communication, and all of these things are related to emotional intelligence, right? So emotional intelligence is like the root. I know you have a root diagram over there as well, with Iman, of course, is the base of it. But in terms of emotional intelligences, you have the competencies of EI, which we'll get into soon, and they lead to all of these different, branches and roots and fruits that will give you a wide-ranging success in different areas of your life, personally as well as professionally. Okay, so far so good. All right. So inshallah, you're convinced, right? And lastly, this graph explains that, as you grow from you fresh out of university and you join the workforce, initially, yes, your intellectual skills, your conceptual skills, and technical skills will play an important role, a greater role in landing your first job and landing and performing well in that job, right? But as you grow from an individual contributor to managing people, to becoming a supervisor, or to becoming a senior level management, more and more your emotional intelligence will play a bigger role, and these intellectual and conceptual and technical skills will play a lesser role in determining your success ability in those roles. Yeah. So Daniel Goleman, a famous author and one of the thought leaders in EI, he mentioned that 85% of a manager's success will come from emotional capabilities. So if your goal, IDP, is to move from being an individual contributor to get into a team lead, supervisor, to inshallah eventually senior management, then this is something that is critical for you. Yeah. And regardless of your personal, of course, in your professional and in your personal life, to succeed as well with raising children, as a spouse, and other roles in the community and so forth, this will be a critical skill as well for any leader. So yeah, this one we talked about. So now we will go into understanding. Let me do a quick check on time. All right, we'll finish this section and then we will take a break, a short break, and then we will take a longer break for Asr, inshallah. Yeah, during Asr time. So understanding emotional intelligence. Now that we have this business case for emotional intelligence, is everybody convinced that it's beneficial, or somebody still has doubts that EI is beneficial or not for business? Everybody convinced? Thumbs up? All right, excellent. So now we'll look at how we can understand this a bit deeper. Yeah, what is EI? What is emotional intelligence? What are emotions, and what is emotional intelligence? Let's get into understanding that, and then we will take a break after that. Bismillah. All right. So in the Quran, it's mentioned وَأَنَّهُ هُوَ أَضْحَكَ وَأَبْكَى, and it is He, that is Allah, that is God, who makes us laugh and weep. So it is something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us as an ability, as a gift actually, to feel happy or sad or experience feelings. Now just imagine that you cannot experience emotions. How would life be? Dull? Boring? Sorry? Numb? What do you think? Empty? Men's side? Yeah, emotionless still, right? Maybe like a robot, maybe like just machines, working and going and talking and everything, but there will be no flavor to it, right? So that's exactly true. So we don't think emotions, we just feel it. Yeah, it is something like a signal, like that electricity signal. It's a pulse that you feel, but it's not something that you think. It's not from the brain. Yeah, it's a source of energy, a source of information. It is a reaction, and it cannot reason on its own. Yeah, we cannot control, we cannot stop the emotion, but we can choose our response to how we react to the emotion. Yeah, we can change that once a trigger happens. Now there was one person, there's a New York, and he was a very successful lawyer. Yeah, and now this person, he got into accident. He got into a car accident, and his brain was damaged somehow in that accident, right? Impacted. And then he went to some of the top doctors, and he tried to find out what was going on. And they tried to look at him, the tests and everything was fine. They said, you're okay. We can't find anything. So then he went back, and after a few months, he lost his job. He was a top lawyer, yeah, and he lost his job. He couldn't perform as he used to perform. After a few more months and after some time, then he lost his wife. And then he's like puzzled, what's happening? What's going on with my life? Then he tries to find and research the best doctor that New York has. And then he found one of the top leaders in the world, Dr. Antonio. So he went up to Dr. Antonio, and then he did his initial analysis and tests and everything, asked him questions and tried to do some scans and everything. And then he could not find something wrong. Then he asked him at the end of the appointment, okay, what time would you like to come next week? And what do you think was his response?